Oh, yeah. So I'm going to ask you a few questions so the audience gets to know you. How do you strike a balance between creating for yourself and writing with an audience in mind?
Ooh,
Start off with the
wow,
big
that's
ones.
incredible. That is
Yeah.
a big one. Writing for myself and an audience in mind. You know, that's a good question. Last night, I was at a reading, queer writers, young queer gabies, if you will, queer
Okay.
young folks that that are doing really amazing work in South Texas, all over, talking about queerness, and it really brings me back to this space of remembering, you know, in the beginning when I was writing because I knew right away that I learned about myself and my identities and who I am through other books, through other writings.
Of course.
So when I first started to write, I thought, I need to write this queer work. I mean, I was 17, 18, I was like struggling. It was 1994. There
Oh,
was
God.
nothing out there. There was,
Yeah.
you know, and so I wrote for the audience and didn't know, I wasn't yet understanding that I was writing for young people who needed stories to see queer stories, brown stories, trans stories, lesbian stories. And I learned that through growing and continuing to do that work that I was healing myself. So I both am doing that work of thinking about an audience, thinking about my own healing, and now, you know, 2 or 3 decades into writing, it's become a full process of knowing that as I put the pen to page, I'm writing in response to what's happening around the world, to what's going on politically, on the border, to queer voices, to BIPOC voices. I'm responding to what's happening now, and I'm also responding to the voices that still need our stories. And I'm also responding to my body that needs to like emote and experience and understand what I'm writing about. So it's a combination of all three. Absolutely.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
so eloquently put.
Thank you.
Also, like, I just wanted to comment, like, for the queer community, you know, LGBTQ plus community,
Yeah.
I really do feel like that with writers and authors and even artists of any kind, when they are able to express themselves through whatever channel that they have, it is therapeutic for not only the audience or the reader, but also to the author, like, very much. And I feel the healing that was coming through that statement that you were talking about.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you so
I
much.
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, let's do a fun question.
All right, let's do it.
All right, if your latest book turns into a film, who would you cast as a lead?
Oh my
You
God.
can refuse if you want.
I know. Who would I cast as the lead of Curtains of Rain? Well, the protagonist is Solitaria, the lead, and oh my gosh, who would I cast? That is a really good question.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have to think about it.
You think about it?
Yeah, I'd have
Okay.
to think about it. I mean, I would want them to be queer,
Of course.
because I, you know, just provide opportunities and make it, you know, the authenticity there. I want them to be queer. I would love for them to be somewhere from the borderlands, if possible, all the borderlands. But in terms of like who they are, I don't know their name necessarily. But
Okay, well,
thank you. Good question,
yeah.
though. Yeah,
Kind of threw you
I
off
love
on
that.
one.
I know. I know.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go with another question. What has been the most surprising or rewarding feedback you've received from readers so far, from any of your works or even this work included?
Yeah, I mean, just last night, again, at the reading yesterday, people coming up to me and just saying, you know, when I read Empanada, your first book, I've kept it under my bed. I've kept it in between my bed, you know, my bed mattress. I have it there. It's the first time I was able to read myself as a brown, queer, gender non-binary, or gender expansive person. To hear folks say that to me is like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because I'm not writing to make $1 million. Although that would be great. I mean, hey, that way we could just give it away, right? Give away money. But more than anything, I'm writing because I know that my life has been saved by books, and that I want to do that work, and that I want to contribute to this narrative that has been erased. I mean, colonization, I mean, everything.
Yeah.
Thousands of years of erasure, and just bringing that work out. You know, that's just really important to me. So when I hear folks say, I have this book, it's helping me understand who I am, or it's understanding my family, or I had a father buy my book for his daughter. I thought, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
You know, sorry if I don't know if I'm supposed to say that word, but you know, that's really cool. I've had just folks that I did not expect to want this book that was, you know, written by a gender expressive person, just purchase it and tell me they really liked it, it really affected them, and it really added to also the understanding of what it is to be queer on the borderlands and multicultural, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Writing the heel. I love it.
Yeah,
I love
thank
it.
you.
All right, let's go with a few more questions, and I'll let you go on your merry little way.
Okay.
What moment in your writing journey,
Mhm.
whether if it was a rejection, a breakthrough, or realization
Okay.
that changed your approach to your craft?
Change my approach to my craft. Oh, there have been so many, and I mean, there's so many, but I think, Sandra Cisneros is a long-time teacher of mine. I'm a Macondo writer um, with Sandra, and Sandra told me early on, I think it was in 2002 when I started with Macondo, we were in a workshop space and she read my first book, manuscript, and I remember her saying, asking me, what have you read so far? And I had just started grad school, and I was telling her all the authors I had read, like Chicana authors, Black authors, feminist authors, like all these folks. And then she said to me, she said, well, you are not working from a place of urgency like my generation did, she told me.
Wow.
And I kind of was like, kind of struck. And I respect her and love her. She's still definitely my teacher, always. And this was great advice because she said, you are not in a place of urgency. We were in a place of urgency when we were writing that work. So take your time.
Mm-hmm.
The microscope, I mean, they're going to be looking at you like under the microscope. People are going to want to tear you down because you're code switching, because you're talking about queerness, because you're talking about identity, you're using language. They're going to question you. They're going to question your authenticity. And she said, take your time. But at that moment, I was able to say to myself, I was so happy because I actually was able to understand that I was in a moment of urgency, because for Sandra, as a Latina writer, I was a Latina, trans, queer, brown, borderlands writer.
Yeah.
Also gender expansive,
Ooh, that's a lot of-
non-binary. So there are more things. And even today, we're in a place of urgency.
Absolutely.
Much more than ever. So that advice to me just makes me want to wake up again and say, I'm doing the right thing. This is what I'm here on this earth for, and it's what I want to keep doing. And that was great advice. It pushed me. It put perspective into what we are all doing, writing books, and why it's important to, put space, tell the stories where the stories have been taken from us.
Wow, that was
Yeah.
a lot of powerful words
Thank
from
you.
Anel Flores, everybody.
Thank you so much.